spoke to me again. Said, go down the end of the street, turn the corner, and get behind the building. It was a building. So walk down the street. As I walk down the street, turn the corner, 6, 7 shots rang out, broad daylight. And this is the ironic part. The guy who just walked by me and asked me if I wanted to buy some bud, it was him. He got shot. Right. Yeah, so in that moment in time, like I said, this is like a flashback of seeing everything, and you like, damn, like, if I hadn't stopped smoking that week, I would have said yes. And if I had said yes, I would have probably got shot. The guy got shot. The dude tried to kill him. He shot him in the neck, shot him in the arm. I think he got shot in the leg. He got hit a couple times. But the crazy part about this, and this is how I know it was nobody but God. This was broad daylight, about 1:30 in the afternoon. Busy Saturday, people on both sides of the streets. But in that moment when this happened, nobody crossed the street when they were shooting, and nobody else got shot. But the crazy part was the guy who asked me if I wanted to, make a purchase. Once he pulled his gun to start shooting, he was running and shooting behind him wildly. So the shots went everywhere. Right. So in that moment, anybody could have got hit, anybody could have got killed, anybody, it could have been anybody. But it wasn't supposed to happen that way. Like, it was already preordained to happen the way it happened. So when it played out, everything played out how it was supposed to. But, and this is why, the reason why I'm telling this story is, when we get a feeling or when we get that inclination of, hey, do this instead of that, you should listen. Not neglect the fact that the thoughts that came to you that aren't your thoughts, because you wouldn't think like that because it's above you, like the guy says, right. It's above me now. Yeah. But in that state of just getting that info that you didn't get from yourself, it came from something above or the one above, you should really take heed to that. Not everybody is lucky to tell the story how I told the story, to be on the side of, hey, I was able to come out of this and look back on it. A lot of people weren't as lucky or as blessed, as my aunt put it. But it was one of those things, because this is only one of many incidents that happened to me in my life. Like, this isn't, like, I can go on for days how a lot of this shit happened, and I either saw it before it happened or something showed me something before. So it's just one of those things where I don't know why I'm saying this, but
it's all pivotal.
If you get
that feeling you just talking about. Go ahead. Yeah,
if you get an inclination or get something dropped into your spirit of, hey, do this, go this way, don't go here, don't go there, listen. Because you never truly know. And I also use this other story. I was in high school, and my friends were going to a party. It was Thanksgiving, the night before Thanksgiving. And they hit me up and was like, hey, man, we're going to this party. You trying to go? I was like, yeah, let me ask my mom. I asked my mom. She said no. I'm like, what? Why? You let me go everywhere else, so I can't go to this party? She's like, no, you're not going to the party. I'm like, you don't never let me do nothing. Like, what's wrong? She like, boy, leave me alone. So I'm like mad at her, because I'm like, hey, I really want to be a part of this. My friends are going, why can't I go? This is how funny stuff works. Mm-hmm. So the next morning, my mom get a call from my aunt. She asking, where's Myles? My aunt's like, where's Myles? My mom was like, what you mean, where's Myles? Like, he's in the room, he's asleep. She was like, go in there and put eyes on him. I need you to tell me he's there. She's like, what's going on? Why? Just go and do it. So she opens the door, she sees him sleep. She tells my aunt. My aunt tells her, my friends actually got arrested the night before. All got arrested for a little bit of weed, a bottle. Everybody was under 21 at the time, and it was some pills. But the crazy part about this whole thing is, where we were from, the hands of one is the hands of all. So if nobody in the car says, hey, this is mine, everybody goes to jail. Well, only one of the 3 items in the car actually belonged to somebody in the car because they were driving my homeboy's mom's car. So the pills and the bottle, that belonged to his mom. But because it was in the trunk when they searched the car, that became part of the evidence that they had because they couldn't prove it was theirs, it wasn't theirs, it was just there. So my homeboy, what happened was they were looking for the party, driving back and forth, and it was a bike cop that stopped him. He was on a little bicycle. And my homeboy, being who he was, who he is, he laughed at the cop because he was like, man, what the fuck you gonna do? Like, you on the bike. Like, we gonna call back up? We gonna be gone. So once the cop made him open the door, the weed fell out. And at that point in time, everything kind of went from 0 to 60 real quick. Nobody wanted to say, well, my homeboy didn't want to say, hey, the weed belongs to me, even though he had the cash on him to get himself out of jail. So everybody had to go to jail that night. Needless to say, if I had been there, I wouldn't be here right now. Only because how it worked and what they were trying to charge them for, being that everybody in the car was black. Let's say that first. Everybody in the car was black. The police were Caucasian. Not saying that every time that happens, something wrong happens, because I met some great cops that they don't look like me. But in this instance, how this took place, it was just one of those things where it didn't help the situation. And my homie was trying to go to the Coast Guard, but because he ended up getting locked up, he wasn't able to go to the Coast Guard. So it was one of those things where I was really fortunate, once again blessed, to not be in that situation. But it's one of those things that I look at now and say, okay, at the time I didn't understand it, at the time I didn't get it, but I get it, it was all for a divine purpose, because if I had been in a car, I wouldn't be able to tell you the story. I wouldn't be able to tell you the last story. I wouldn't be able to just have this.
You know what that makes me? It reminds me of this concept. So you ever play Flappy Bird? So Flappy Bird is this game where it's like this little bird, and there's like these pillars like this. And if anybody's ever played this game, you know how it works. So you're in the middle, and basically the bird is. You have the screen and you're like moving it, and you just have to lean it and it's jumping up and down. And if you fall, you go to the bottom, start over.
Gotcha.
So there's something called disc in the universe. There's low disc and there's high disc. Okay. And it's really wild. So people who are on a low disc in the universe, meaning like they want to resonate, like, because the point of Flappy Bird and the point of us is to get to our highest dimension, to make it to heaven, to get with God. You know what I'm saying? And what that means for me is connecting, because your body, we think it's mind is in our head and our body is our chest down. No, your body is everything. Your body is everything. So connection, when you connect all that, is that. So basically,
like a chain reaction.
Exactly. So the point of this game, Flappy Bird, and why I say this is what's making me think of all these things. We are the traveler, the disc. So when you get that feeling, you're like, damn, I shouldn't do that. Like how your mom said, nah, you're not really like. She had that feeling of that's a low disc thing. That's a low disc behavior. That's a low disc situation. That's a low disc demographic you're putting yourself in. So things can go wrong. Not just that, but you may not make it. You may fall down, and maybe that's the end of the game. Like, you may not make it to the highest dimension that you're supposed to make it to. So when you feel the feeling of, okay, I should, because it's a quick thing in the game of Flappy Bird. You have to make quick decisions of like, okay, how much room do I have there to lean on that one? Is it big enough? Is this one small enough? Sometimes you have to go on smaller ones to get to that next big, that level. So It's like the high disc are things where you're like, you feel like, man, I don't really want to do this, but I got to do this. I feel this is the right thing to do. So it's literally that, man. We're not, the things that happen to us. This is what trauma is, though. The whole point of this was a beautiful thing. Trauma, and I'm talking about real trauma, deep trauma that people have. Trauma is when we attribute those discs. So like something that would happen maybe with one of your friends or something, or something that's happened to me. Anything that I did, maybe did something bad, blah blah, and I listen to that low disc. If I start going around telling everybody this story, like, oh, this happened to me, and this, and like that's me, not knowing that I'm still moving up. You know what I mean? Like, not to say it's good to reflect on a low disc and a high disc. It's good to reflect so you can know the difference.
I understand.
But I'm talking about trauma of when someone is like, they really believe that it was that of why they're not moving up anymore.
Internalize, man.
Yeah, like it was that low disc that happened. No, that thing that happened was a disc. You are the Flappy Bird. You are the traveler. That is not you. That's the trauma part of it.
I understand.
Is we connect ourselves to that. So when you can break that disconnection and say, okay, I have to let that go. I have to let it go. Meaning, if I keep talking about it, I'm gonna keep jumping on that one and
it's
falling
like you
down.
relive it. It's like
you relive it.
It's the movie. I don't know if you ever seen the movie Groundhog Day
with
Bill Murray.
Oh, he lives the same day over
and over again.
Wow, yeah,
that's the same thing.
My teacher in college told me. My creative process teacher told me to watch that.
It's the same thing because when I watched that movie, it really made sense with me. Because at first I
maybe
couldn't
it wasn't
get it.
him though. Maybe it was somebody else.
At first I couldn't get it, like, because I was like, I watched it when I was a kid, and it never really made sense. Like, why the fuck is this man living the same shit over and over again? Like, what's the purpose? But when I watched it as an adult, it really resonated with me. It's just like life. Like, if you ever notice, people go through the same thing over and over again. It might be with a different person. For example, relationships. I use relationships because that's a big one. Wow. Relationships where, for example, there's this girl and this guy. All right, so the girl is, she's smart, she's independent, she's a go-getter. She looks at life as, hey, I can have whatever I want. But then there's this guy as, hey, I'm good looking, but I kind of just, I can have what I want. I can have any female I want, but at the same time, I don't want to bring more to the table than what they're willing to give, if that makes sense. Like, I want it to be 50-50. But the girl is looking like, hey, I'll take care of you if I have to. The reason why I'm saying it in this terms is, for the girl, she keeps getting guys that she keeps having to take care of, but not understand why she has to keep taking care of these guys. It's simply because you set yourself up for that. And that's the guy who's getting these women as, well, she was good for 2 weeks, but other than that, she just, she's trying to suck me dry. Simply because that's what you're attracting. Because, like, what you're putting out is what you're getting. The girl, she's like, I don't mind taking care of you, but I don't really want to. But because you don't mind it, that's what you're going to keep getting. Because the guys that you're attracting, they're going to see that. And they're going to be like, oh, she don't mind taking care of me? Well, shit, she can be my mama too. This is how this happens. Because it's
that disc. You just keep going on that same disc.
Exactly. But you're not realizing it because it's like, hey, it goes back to that saying that why do the same thing and expect something different to happen? It won't. That's insanity. Because if you do the exact 2 + 2 is 4. 2 - 2 is what? 0. It don't matter how you put that. It's still going to be the exact same thing.
Every time.
So
unless we in a dimension and math is different, but
right. And I mean, at that point in time, let me know because then I can cash in. But at this point in time, with these two people, the male and the female, they can't expect to get anything more than that because they haven't projected more than that. They're only projecting that low disc vibration, which is bringing that low disc solution, and in turn, instead of actually being able to level up and go to the next high disc, they're just Groundhog Day. They're reliving it over and over and over and over, going through the exact same thing over and over again. And I went through the same thing at one point in time where it was like the women that I was dealing with, not saying they were bad because they weren't bad, they were just all in different places in their life. But one thing that I realized is at that time I wasn't really sure, well, I won't say sure, I wasn't clear in what I wanted. And because I wasn't clear in what I wanted, the universe got confused and kept giving me what I did not.
I wouldn't even say it was confused because it was like that no. It was like that no that you had when I'm just saying I'm related to that.